I don't think anybody likes last resorts. Nobody wants to have to actually deal with those life jackets that are underneath airplane seats. Nobody wants to find themselves in a situation where they're the ones that have to pull the fire alarm. Nobody wants to have to do emergency plumbing repair with duct tape because there's water leaking from the ceiling. Nobody likes last resorts. And yet there are circumstances in which we find ourselves where it's the only thing left. What we hear today in the first half of our gospel is a series of last resorts. When our brother or sister sins, this is the method that we use to bring them back, to rescue those who have strayed. And it's an important gospel because it saves us from complaining about others behind their backs. It calls us to deal with issues face to face in the context of a relationship, rather than spend our time in useless gossip. But it's important for us, again, to recognize that this is a last resort. This is not the starting point of faith. Because if this is where we start, then we're always backing up. We're always defending ourselves against the onslaught of threats, of those challenges and protests of life and others. And then every prayer and every act of charity and every moment of beauty just becomes another brick in the wall of this defense that we have to set up in order to keep people from threatening us and challenging us in life. And then faith becomes this kind of arsenal of weapons. We just kind of take these grenades of prayer and launch them over the wall to hold off those who are coming against us. But this can't be the starting point of faith. We can't start here, because if we do, then we will never move forward. We'll always be slowly backing away, always kind of defending ourselves like a boxer who has to put his hands up over his face because he's losing the match. Instead, the starting point of faith is to put ourselves and others in front of the inexpressible and inexhaustible beauty of God. Instead of keeping others at a distance, and instead of trying to hold off reality, instead we put ourselves and our friends in front of what God is offering to us in this world. And in that way we can move forward in faith. Yesterday we had a parish council retreat, and we spent 5 hours talking about the needs of our parish and the opportunities that are before us. And there were a lot of ideas that were thrown around, but nobody threw out the idea of, let's just build walls. Let's just not do anything. We're good where we are. We don't need to move anywhere. We're pretty good in the ministries that we do, and let's just settle for what we've got. Nobody mentioned that possibility. Thank God I would have kicked him off the parish council right there. But we can't do this. We can't get settled. We can't defend ourselves with this sense of complacency. We can't just settle for what we've got. Instead, we have to move forward. Move forward with this confidence and faith that God is going to reveal to us something new. Because really this is what we need. This experience of beauty, an experience of the love and mercy of God. I think this is why St. Paul says to us that love is the fulfillment of the law. Because we need this experience of love, this experience of fullness. We don't just want people to talk about love or to say nice things about what it means to be loved, or, God forbid, to go to cheesy love movies that give us this sense that love is just all butterflies and flowers. We need to be loved. We need an experience of love. And we need to love our brothers and sisters. It's not enough to just have this idea about what it means. We need concretely in the flesh to have this experience of love. Because this is how God has loved us. God didn't just send messages about love, nice words or thoughts about love. God sent His Son in the flesh so that we could have an experience of what it means to be embraced by the God of love. And this is what we need to share with our brothers and sisters. This real experience of being embraced by the God of love. Because our brothers and sisters need to know this. We need to know this. That the God of love who created us did not abandon us, but that He remains with us and is present in our midst. And so it's an opportunity for us to really do a bit of an examination of conscience. Do we spend the majority of our time having to employ this method that is given to us in our gospel? Do we spend the majority of our time needing to correct our brothers and sisters? Because if so, then maybe we need to rethink our approach. Because the fact is that reproach only goes so far. We can only rebuke our brothers and sisters so much. What wins people over is not rebuking and wagging fingers. What wins people over is the attraction to the love of God, the attraction and the beauty of what God has given to us. And that means that we should be spending our time giving witness to what God has done for us, so that people can see in others this attraction. We see this in the way that Christ lived. He didn't spend the majority of His time going around rebuking others. And instead, He attracted people. People flocked to Jesus because He was such an attractive presence. Not that He didn't say difficult things, but people were won over by this attractiveness, by the way He looked at people. And we need to have this same gaze towards others, this same look of mercy and kindness. From the moment people walk in these doors, they should be met with a look that is attractive, a presence that is attractive, that wins us over, and that wants us to develop this relationship with Christ. And so let's help each other. Let's help each other to move out in faith, to welcome our brothers and sisters, to help them to have this experience of the love of God present in their lives. And so before we call our brothers and sisters to task, let's call them to life. Let's call them to share with us this path of faith where we can experience together the great mercy and the great love and the great kindness of our God who has come to us.